As we head back into 2023, I'm going back to what I know. I'm going back to what I have been the most profitable in over the last decade of myself trading, and that is going to be shorting stocks. Shorting stocks. This was my first true love in stock trading. And the reason why it's so amazing and the reason why it's so incredible is because how predictable it is. And on top of that, how profitable it is. We all dream about being stock traders and we think of a stock going from $1 and going all the way up to $100. If you have a $1,000 account and a stock goes from $1 and it goes all the way up towards $100, you make $99,000. But you also make $99,000 if a stock goes from $100 down towards $1. So if I can make just as much money on the downside as I can on the upside, why am I so biased towards the upside? Well, the reason why you're so biased is because maybe that's all you know. Maybe that's all like you ever heard of. Oh, let me just buy stocks, buy stocks, buy stocks. I want to buy the ones that go on the best breakouts. Well, why not catch the back end of those breakouts? And instead of being the person that's always buying at the very tippity top, we're the person shorting at the very tippity top. And instead of again buying a whole bunch of random plays, hoping that they become the next big spike, why don't we wait for the big time spike and then just go ahead and short it right back on down? And I know I went over this earlier, but I just want to go over it one more time for this lesson, is that we take a look over on FinViz and we click screener. There's 8,432 stocks I can pick from today. Which one's going to be the best? Which one's going to be the breakout? It's kind of overwhelming. How am I going to figure out of 422 pages here, which is going to be the best breakout on the day? There are so many options to choose from. But what if there wasn't? What if there's only 4 options to choose from? When I go over and I see which stocks have already spiked, which stocks are already breaking out, which stocks are already starting to come on down, I can say to myself, hey, instead of picking 1 out of 8,000, I can look at the ones that have already broke out, and now again, I can go ahead and make money on the downside. It's tough to be able to say, man, out of 1 out of 8,000, PHVS is going to be the number 1 top gainer as it goes from $2 and spikes all the way up towards $12. But when it's at $12, it's very easy to say, wow, everyone's been talking about this play. It's going to give a lot of its gains back as it falls from $12 and falls back down to $7. It's very tough to say out of 1 out of 8,000, AMAM is going to be the best play as it goes from 40 cents all the way up to $4. But it's very easy once everyone's talking about it and sees it, where it goes from now $4 all the way back down towards $2. Every single one of these breakouts give their gains back. And if we make the same amount of money on the downside than the upside, why wouldn't we look for shorts over and over and over again? This is how I've been able to live. This is how I've been able to have success. This is how I was able to make $551,000 last year, by controlling emotions, because your emotions are going to be some of the hardest things to control. You see a big time breakout, you want to buy into it. It goes higher and higher, you want to buy into it. The moment you buy into it, it starts coming back on down. You then start getting eager. You read something online and say, okay, this is going to be the next big breakout. You buy into it, nothing ever happens, you end up losing. You again see a stock that all of a sudden went on a huge spike. You buy in on it, it doesn't do anything, it starts falling, you get out of it. Later on in the day, it spikes back on up. Now again, you're getting all over the place. Next trade, you jump in on the play. It falls on down. You say, last time I got out of it, it spiked back up. I'll keep on holding it. It drops on down even lower. Team, let's avoid all of that nonsense. Let's avoid all of that commotion. Let's stop putting ourselves in these positions where we are only going to hurt ourselves. Let's learn at this point, how can I become a profitable shorter? I have some strategies that I look for at least every single day on how can we be able to make money in the market. One of the best things that we can do every single day is short pre-market top gainers. This is hands down one of the most profitable ways to consistently win, is to make money shorting. This is a very simple and easy way to trade, and you're probably going to get around an 85% win rate by doing this. And this is just by shorting pre-market top gainers. So how'd that work? Let's turn on our pre-market scanners and let's just see what stocks today we're having some of the best gap ups. If we take a look, number 1, ATNF was the number 1 gap up this morning. What can you guys tell me about ATNF right now? It has turned into one of the best losers. ATNF opened up at the price of $6.15. It fell all the way down to the price of $4.30. It's currently sitting at $5. Now, let's not be unrealistic. There was a time that it spiked on up in the morning, but you could see how big this red candle really is today. This is not me just randomly picking out stocks. This is me showing you that a lot of these top gainers are just going to turn into great red candles. Let's see what else we have today. It's not going to be always, but let's see. QUMU had a gap up, not really doing too much, a little bit of a red. LABP is a red day at this time, and I think VKTX actually held its gains pretty well. Even here in pre-market, you could see massive spike gave back so much of its gains. So why try to be a person that is saying to ourselves, hey, let's try to buy it when it's at $8, where we could just say, wow, we just went from $4 to $8. We just spiked 100%. Let me look for a short back on down. There's going to be a much better chance on the short side. We can see how we could just be able to make money just from these plays. We could see when we have a stock that goes from 20 cents and goes all the way up to $7, we have a great chance that it's going to come come crashing back on down. Pre-market top gainers are going to be plays that are automatically going to have shorters targets on their back. And we should say to ourselves every day, whenever we have a stock that has a massive gap up over 100%, we should always see if there are shares available to short. What is another great shorting opportunity or a way that we could go ahead and pull the trigger on shorts? This is one of my top most profitable strategies, which is pre-market shorting top gainers. And let's just review that real quick. Stocks that are top gainers in pre-market already made their move. The majority of top gainers in pre-market will fall, especially ones without news. Stocks that are up over 100 to even 200% are easy candidates, as there will always be profit taking. Why do stocks go up? People buy them. Why do stocks go down? People sell them. People are always going to be selling stocks that are up over 150% because they're going to take their profits right when they wake up. So there's always going to be more momentum on the downside on stocks that have these massive gap ups. So traders, here's some awesome examples of stocks that are gapping up that have become great shorts. Look at AMPC. Notice how every time we have a gap up, we come crashing on down. Gap up, we come crashing on down. Gap up, we come crashing on down. Take a look over on SLDB right here. We have gap up, we come crashing on down. You could take SNOA. Look at the gap up, we come crashing on down. SONA, gap up, crashing on down. Gap up, we come crashing on down. Ladies and gentlemen, how ridiculous is this? Every time we have a gap up, we come crashing all the way back on down. VTVT, gap up, come crashing all the way back on down. So it's not just of today. Today, of course, we could look at it. The number one top gainer in the stock market, AT&F, has a gap up. It came crashing on down. Take a look at what we're seeing right here. Now imagine if all you guys had to do every single day was wake up, take a look at your pre-market scanner. What has the best gap up? That's the one I'm going to lean towards a possible short. You're going to win probably 85% of the time. There won't win every time. There will be times that you have gap ups that they do keep on going, but the majority of them are going to crash. Let's see another great strategy. Shorting trend line cracks. This is just simple trend line trading. Look for the hottest play on the day, team. Not one that has low volume, not one that's dead, not one that just has a little bit of hype that, it's slowly working its way across the day. I'm talking about the number one most active play. Find the trend line, and when that trend line cracks, go ahead and look for the short. Because as we talked about, why will stocks move down? People will sell them. Just like in pre-market, people are going to sell right when the market opens on up as they take their profits. People are going to sell trend line cracks the moment the trend line crack happens because they know that we're going to start fading on off. So if we have a consistent hot play that could be slow and steady working its way on up, the moment we go from bullishness to bearishness, the moment it starts dropping on off, bullishness to bearishness, we start fading very hard. We could see exactly where our perfect short would be. Short would be right at the crack. Then of course we have our top area. We have again, right here, we have our top area. So that is absolutely great. And that is absolutely crucial for every single trader. So I want to make sure that you guys are really starting to understand this and starting to say to yourself, all right, hey, these are two ways that I could go ahead and start shorting. I could do pre-market top gainers, or on top of that, I could do shorting cracks. What else can we look at? One of the very big things that I want every single person to know is my favorite and one that I use the most often, which is going to be shorting upper shadows. You guys know this one and I talk about it a lot. Shorting upper shadows is one of the most consistent ways to make money in shorting stocks. The way this works is every single stock is going to have an indicator that we have reached our top. And the top is going to be usually known by a very big upper shadow. And that upper shadow is going to indicate us saying, hey, we reached our top before heading back on down. Let me show you some examples. And I just want to show you some examples that we can maybe find out of today. Take a look over on AT&F here. Let's see if we have any sort of big upper shadows that really stand out to us, indicate that we are going to start reversing. And we can see that that's what I mean by an upper shadow. You can see it's a very long black wick, and it shows us that the stock spiked up this high, but unfortunately couldn't hold its gains. So then it came crashing back on down. Let's see if there's any other big upper shadows that are standing out of today. AXLA, where can you guys see over on AXLA some upper shadows that are really standing out to us? Well, we have first things first in pre-market. Can anyone see in pre-market right here? How do we know that the stock's gonna fall? We have this big long upper shadow that indicates we're gonna fall on down. And then we spiked on up right here, and that indicated we're gonna fall on down. And then we have an upper shadow right here to indicate we're gonna fall on down. Pretty interesting to see, huh? What else do we have here? Let's try to find like another very nice breakout on the day. CI had a nice little breakout here, and we could take a look at this. Now, it didn't have a huge big time spike, and usually the bigger the spike, the clearer the upper shadow will be. For instance, if we take a look in pre-market, look how big this upper shadow is, these black lines, which led to this very big drop. You could still see we do have some upper shadows right here that indicate we're at the top, but it's not anything ginormous. Let's even go back to a couple different plays. Let's go back to maybe, some ones that were going very wild recently. COSM went insane. COSM went all the way from $23, crashed all the way back down towards $10. Let's see over the last day or so if COSM had any sort of big upper shadow. Well, COSM actually again closed off its day at its high, high, so we didn't have that strong reversal. But what is cool is we can see a very strong reversal in pre-market. Where is going to be that pre-market reversal? I see a climb, 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 and then what do I see? I see an upper shadow. This would be a great indicator to go ahead and throw on a short. And the short then goes down, 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 down. So that, indicator right there let us know, hey, it's time to go ahead and look for a possible short. Let's look at another very big breakout here. AMAM, probably about a week and a half ago. Can you guys see already? Very big spike, upper shadow and drop. Very big spike, upper shadow and drop. Go ahead and short where we see that upper shadow. Here's again, upper shadow drop. Whenever an upper shadow does present itself, that's where it's going to be the perfect shorting opportunity. I hope that even this very brief lesson has already opened up your eyes and changed your life essentially. You might say, Deck, changed my life. You're getting a little dramatic. Am I being a little dramatic? Because before, traders were again sounding crazy. And they're sounding crazy because they're saying to themselves, I want to find the one stock today that's going to turn into the best top gainer out of 8,432 options. When instead we can make just as much money or even more if I just say, hey, you know what? Maybe you just want to look at these top 4 options because these are the ones that all broke on out today that all have the best chance of dumping on down. So instead of trying to be 1 in 8,000, I'm 1 in 4. Much better odds. On top of this, I don't have to be as emotional. I don't need to chase. I don't need to get worried. I don't need to say, oh, wow, I'm missing it. We know that these are going to dump on down. And also, if I see a trend line on it, I can short it. If I want to short it at the start of the day from pre-market gap up, I can do that as well. Or if it does start spiking, whenever it has an upper shadow, I can short it right there. Do you guys want to get rich in the stock market? Yes or no? If your answer is yes, short pre-market top gainers. If they keep on spiking, wait for a trend line crack. Or if they keep on spiking, wait for an upper shadow and you'll be all set, ready to go. 99.9% of these plays are not going to keep going up, up, up. You know why? Because they're penny stocks. You know why? Because they're working out of sheds. Do you know why? Because they have a max of 2 employees. Do you know why? They're not stocks that are suitable to hold a 300% spike in a day. And that's why AMAM came crashing on down. And that's why PHVS right here came crashing on down, where it went on a spike from $2.27 to $12 and came crashing on down. They will never hold their gains. This is how I was able to make $500,000 last year. There's no secrets behind this team. I'm laying it all out there for you. Look for shorting plays. It's going to be so profitable. That's where you guys want to really be able to take advantage going into 2023.